If you have a very slender person come in, they say they feel great, no problems, then you're going to check a very limited set of lab work for their annual checkup, if you check any labs at all. But I would encourage every healthcare provider out there to start checking a hemoglobin A1c, even if your patient is slender, even if your patient has a normal fasting blood sugar, because I promise you what you're going to start to discover is that many of your patients are pre-diabetic. They're going to have a hemoglobin A1c above 5.6 and somewhere below 6.5. And they're going to have no idea that they are pre-diabetic. Now, we know from the medical literature that even in pre-diabetes, there is damage being done to the end organs, to the tiny arterioles. This is proven in 2 or 3 studies so far, if not more. And so you are doing a huge disservice to your pre-diabetic patient if first you don't diagnose them, and secondly, you don't start to counsel them about their high carbohydrate folly. Back to the Asian and Indian problem. How is it possible that these people are so slender, yet they have metabolic disease from eating a high carbohydrate diet? Now, people with Asian genetics, Indian genetics, don't put on peripheral fat like my genetic subset does. And so they will start to develop something we call visceral fat. They have fat inside of their abdominal musculature. They'll start to put fat in their liver. They'll start to put fat in their pancreas, but they will not develop the classic picture of obesity that we see when we look at somebody who's obviously overweight. That's the problem, because when you actually start checking A1Cs and C-peptides in the Asian population and the Indian population, you find that a majority of adults have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes that just hasn't been diagnosed, while the patient continues to eat a high carb diet. That's when the hemoglobin A1c or the average blood sugar starts to rise. So that's a big problem. And it hides this metabolic disease from us because these people look slender. There is a specific range of carbohydrate intake that is optimal for the human species. And when you not only look at the outward appearance of people, but you also check their A1C and their C-peptide so that you get a behind the scenes look at their glucose metabolism and at their insulin metabolism. When you do that, it opens up this whole new world. And no longer do you just look at the patient's body habitus and say, oh, they're obese. Obviously, they're eating too many carbs. You start to uncover a whole new population of people who are hyperinsulinemic, who are pre-diabetic, and who are undiagnosed type 2 diabetics.